This story is about a village where a mysterious and painful incident shook everyone. Grandpa had spent a fortune buying a female camel. Every single night, he'd sneak out to check on her. And every time, I could hear the camel's terrifying screams echoing through the yard, sharp, eerie, and haunting. Not even 6 months passed, and that camel gave birth to 2 baby camels. The whole village came to see. Everyone was curious, except Grandpa. He stood off to the side, face dark and unreadable. Our neighbor, Mr. Chen, chuckled and asked, "Uncle, you're the only one around with a camel. So tell me, how exactly did she get pregnant?" Grandpa frowned. "I took her to the town for breeding." But right as he said that, the mother camel turned her head and gave Grandpa a strange look, a cold, judging glare, like she knew something we didn't. Mr. Chen laughed again. "Well then, are you selling the baby camels? I'd love to buy one and roast it for New Year's. Never had camel meat before." Grandpa's face tightened. "Camel meat's tough, not worth eating. Get a pig instead." But before Grandpa could finish, Grandma jumped in. "Oh, hush. You've never even tasted camel meat. Stop acting like you know." Then she turned to Mr. Chen with a smile. "You want one? How much are you offering?" It was clear. Grandma wanted to sell those camels. She'd been hoping to trade them for pigs for a long time. Mr. Chen hesitated, then held up 2 fingers. Grandma scoffed. "That's not even close. Come on, add a little more." He waited a beat, then held up 3 fingers. "3, that's my final offer. I just want to taste what camel's like. If you say no, I'm walking away." Grandma didn't blink. "Deal. We're all neighbors. I'll give you a good price." But as soon as the words left her mouth, the mother camel rushed in front of her babies, stomping the ground furiously. She let out deep, threatening grunts, warning Mr. Chen to back off. He smirked. "I'll take the smaller one, the little female." Grandma didn't hesitate. She opened the gate and told Grandpa, "Old man, get the baby camel out here. Don't keep Mr. Chen waiting." Grandpa frowned. He looked at the mother camel, then back at Mr. Chen. "She's too young," he said. "If you take her now, she won't last 3 days." Then he offered, "Why don't you let her stay here until New Year's? That way, the meat will be fresh when you take her." There were still 10 days until New Year. But Mr. Chen laughed. "Uncle, you don't understand. Newborn camel bones are soft. The meat is extra tender. That's what makes it delicious." As he spoke, he swallowed, staring hungrily at the baby camel. Grandma pushed Grandpa again. "Go on, stop wasting time." Reluctantly, Grandpa stepped into the pen. But before he could even touch the baby, the mother camel lunged at him. She knocked Grandpa to the ground hard, then she stomped on his stomach with her hooves. Dust flew up. Grandpa groaned in pain, struggling to breathe. Grandma screamed, "You damn beast, I'll beat you to death." She grabbed a whip and started lashing the camel. Other villagers joined in, helping her drive the mother into a corner. Grandpa stood up, dirty and bruised, camel hoof prints all over his clothes. He spat on the ground and cursed, "Ungrateful animal. One day I'll have you slaughtered." The mother camel let out another ear-piercing scream, and right then, they pulled the baby female out of the pen. Mr. Chen stepped up, touched her head gently, and smiled. "She looks tender already. I'm gonna roast her over fire." The villagers clapped and laughed. One young guy said, "Chen, you're really living the high life, always eating meat. Now camel, wow." Another chimed in, "If I could get just 1 bite, I could die happy." They were all excited. Chen's family was rich. Pigs, goats, you name it. People envied him, and Chen loved the attention. He grinned. "We're all from the same village. Everyone can try a bite." Then he looked at Grandpa. "Uncle, let's just butcher her right here." The mother camel screamed again. Louder this time, she stared straight at Chen, like she wanted to rip him apart. Grandpa hesitated, but Grandma smiled. "All right then, let's all enjoy a feast." She grabbed a knife and rope from the shed. Some young men held the baby camel down. The little one cried, high-pitched, desperate. Her eyes locked onto Grandpa's. Mr. Chen didn't hesitate. 1 quick slice, and it was over. They skinned her, built a fire in the yard, roasted the body. The meat sizzled. The smell filled the air. The villagers cheered. After all, meat was a luxury here. Most didn't eat it all year. Everyone smiled, except Grandpa. He walked silently to the pen, looked at the mother camel, and said coldly, "It was just one baby. No need to hold a grudge." But Grandpa didn't know what was coming for him would be much worse. The next morning, something unbelievable happened. Our female camel had suddenly gained nearly 80 pounds overnight. She had eaten all the licorice we gave her the previous night. Grandpa decided he'd sell her, but Grandma wasn't so sure. "Old man," she said, "let's not rush. Let's keep her for a bit longer. I feel like she can still gain more weight." Grandpa agreed without much fuss, and after saying that, he grabbed the donkey cart and left for town, planning to sell camel meat. Now, only Grandma and I were left at home. She told me, "Son, keep an eye on the camel. I'm heading up the mountain to gather more licorice." I nodded. "Okay." She picked up her sickle, strapped on a bamboo basket, and left. Strangely, the camel kept staring at her as she walked away, and she didn't look away until Grandma completely vanished from sight. By noon, the weather had turned a little warm. Suddenly, the camel jumped out of the pen. She was huge, probably weighed over 700 pounds. She landed barely half a meter away from me, and she was staring straight into my eyes. If she charged, one bite and she could crush my skull like an eggshell. I collapsed to the ground, couldn't even breathe, afraid I'd make her angry. She walked right up to me, sniffed me. Maybe she sensed I wasn't a threat because she turned around and bolted out of the yard. She was fast, really fast. By the time I got up, she was already gone. I had no choice but to sprint up the mountain, searching for Grandma, out of breath and panicked. I finally found her halfway up the slope, but when she saw me, she wasn't happy at all. Her face turned stern. "Who told you to come here?" she scolded. "I told you to watch the camel," I quickly explained. She ran away. Before I could finish, slap, she hit me across the face. "Where did she run off to?" she shouted. Dazed, I cried out, "I don't know." Another slap, then another. "You're useless," she yelled. "What good are you?" With fury in her eyes, she grabbed her sickle and ran downhill. As soon as we reached the village entrance, Grandma started yelling, "Our camel's gone! Please help us find her!" The whole village joined the search, but even after sunset, no one could find her. Left with no other option, Grandma and I headed back home. But just as we walked into the yard, I froze. The female camel. She was back in the pen, peacefully chewing on hay. Her belly had grown even larger. She looked like she gained another 100 pounds. Grandma's eyes widened. "You said the camel ran away," she said. "Then why is she in the pen now? Are you lying to me?" I shook my head like crazy. "No, she did run away." Grandma walked over to the pen and inspected the camel closely. "She's gotten even fatter," she mumbled. And then the camel lifted her head and looked straight at Grandma. There was something strange in her eyes, something unnatural, almost sinister. I noticed something else. The corners of her mouth were stained red. Suddenly the gate creaked open. Grandpa returned with the donkey cart. His face was pale. "Something's happened," he said. "Chen Wang is dead." Grandma froze. "Killed?" "He was bitten to death. His neck was snapped clean. Let's go check it out." Just then, I caught the camel sneaking a glance at Grandpa. She looked like she was smiling, and in her eyes was pride. Grandma turned to me. "Son, stay here and watch the camel. We'll be back soon." They left, and now it was just me and the camel. At some point, I realized the camel was staring at me again. Her gaze made my skin crawl. I was terrified she might leap out again. I rushed into the east room and locked the door behind me. I climbed onto the brick bed and peeked through the window. She was still staring, still watching me. Outside, it had started snowing heavily. The wind was bitterly cold. The camel was still standing in the open, the pen gate shut. She had no shelter. Snow kept falling, now almost to her knees. But even through all that, she didn't stop watching me. Her eyes, they looked almost human, filled with emotion I couldn't explain. We've had her since I was little. She's practically part of the family. I climbed down, ran out to the pen. She was covered in snow, thick layers on her back. She was freezing. I whispered, "I'll open the gate. Go inside and stay warm. But please, don't bite me." Still, she stared. Then she slowly moved one hoof, made a soft, grunting noise. I opened the gate stepped into the pen, and unlocked the shelter. The camel walked over, licked my head. It startled me, but her eyes, they were gentle, like a person's. She turned and walked into the shelter. I locked it behind her and ran back inside. That night, Grandma and Grandpa came back covered in snow. Their faces were serious. Grandma whispered, "Old man, do you think Chen's wife was telling the truth? She said she saw the camel kill him." Grandpa sat down heavily. She's old. Subscribe for part 2.